Good morning or afternoon. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our class. The past couple of weeks, we have been talking about graphs and all the different types of graphs there are. So we are going to continue. We are going to continue learning about the different types of graphs. Last week, we learned about pie charts, tally charts, and picture graphs. And today, we're going to talk about bar graphs. But first, who can remember why do we use graphs? Think about it. Why do we use graphs? You can pause the video and think about why do we use graphs? So we use graphs to organize data and to help us find out information quickly. Looking at these charts, we can see who has the most and who has the least. For example, on the pie chart, we learned that the one that has the most color has the greatest amount of value. So for the pie chart, whatever red represents means there was more of that. So if this was a pie chart on our favorite colors, most of the class has red as their favorite color. And same goes with least, the one that is just has a little bit, has the least amount of value. So for the tally chart, it would be red because there's only two. And for the picture graph, it would be orange because there's only one. So bar graphs show data using rectangular bars to show how large each value is. So for this graph, we want to see the largest means it has the most, right? So the yellow would have the most. If this was about our favorite colors, most of the class, its favorite color is yellow. So if this is the most, pause the video and think, which color has the least amount of value? Which color has the least amount of value? If the most is yellow, pause the video and think, which one has the least? If you said red, you are correct. The red has the least amount. If this was about our favorite colors, the least amount of people would say that their favorite color is red. Just like the other graphs, the parts of the graphs are similar. So it still has a title. If this was about our favorite pets, our title would be our favorite pets. It still has data. Now it does look a little bit different here because on the pie chart, our data went inside of the color. But it is similar to the picture graph and the tally chart because our data is still on the side. And our labels are the same. They are on the bottom. So here it would say, oh, this one's different. So this would say star. This would say circle. So they flipped. Our label would be here and our data would be here. So we actually flipped them. If this was a picture graph, cat would be here and one would be here. So it is a little bit different than our picture graph that we saw last week. But it still has labels, it still has data, and it still has a title. So now, oh, okay, how do I do this? So now we are going to a new graph, and this is a bar graph. We have our title, we have our data, and we have our labels. But just looking at this graph, I want you to think, what would you name it? We can pause the video and think, what would you name this graph? It is a bar graph. You could name it class favorite animals. You can name it animals I saw at the zoo. there's no right or wrong answer for that one. You can really name it a lot of different ones. Animals that live in Africa, I think is um so now looking at this graph, which animal has the most value? Which animal has the most? I'm going to say we name it animals we saw at the zoo. So these are the animals we saw at the zoo. Which one did we see the most of? The lion has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lions we saw. So we saw the most lions. If the lions were the most, how many did we see the least of? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tigers. 1, 2, 3 zebras. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bears, rhinoceros. I'm going to say it's a bear. It looks kind of like a bear. So we wouldn't name it animals from Africa. We would probably just name it animals from the zoo, assuming that it's bear. It's a little bit hard to see. So now we are going to, we already counted them, but we're going to learn a quick way to read the chart. Would be we just look at the animal we want to see and we go all the way up to the last colored in square, and then we can see 6. So we don't have to count 1, 2, 3. We can just look at what we want to see the most or what we want to see the value of, scroll up, and it is 6. There are 6 tigers. Okay, I'll just write it in. It's my first time using Jamboard. Now we're going to look at lions again. We scroll up, go over to the data, and there are 10 lions. Ooh, that is not, okay. And zebras, there are 3 zebras. And finally, bears, there are 8 bears. So, all right. So just looking at the numbers again, we have the most value, the most shaded in rectangles is 10. The least are the zebras, it is 3. Going over, now we are going to find the data ourselves and then form a graph. So for this one, we are finding, tallying, and then graphing sight words. So I'm going to circle, what color is this? I'm going to circle the words now first. Now is going to be in blue. So where do you see now? I see one here. I think that's all of the words. So now we are going to count. How many nows did we circle? 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many tallies do we put on the word now? We put 4. Ooh. Now we are going to change our color And we are going to circle the word how. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, once we get to 5, we diagonal. 6, 7, 8, 9. Awesome job. Now we are going to switch to the word not. Not. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 knots. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And last, we have the word no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we have a trickster here. We have a trick word, has. Oh, we already used that color. Let's use black. Has. Is has on our chart, our bar graph, or our tally chart? No. So we are going to cross out has and just pretend like he didn't exist. He's not there. So using our tally chart, we are going to fill in our bar graph. So our now sight word has 1, 2, 3, 4. So we would grab our circle and put 1, 2, 3, 4. And our how has 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we would put 9 on our bar graph. Oh, okay. And what about our knot? How many knots did we find here? We found 5, 6, 7. While I'm putting knot, count how many no's there are. How many no's did we tally? If you said 8, you are correct. We had 8 no's. So we are going to fill in 8 bars on our bar graph. Or not bars. 8 rectangles on our no bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. All right. So now that we have filled in our tally chart and our bar graph, we could use either to answer these next questions. But we're going to use our bar graph for right now. So if we are looking at our bar graph, which sight word has the most amount? Which one has the biggest color. Which one has the most color? If you said how, you are right. It has the whole thing filled out. That is so much. Sorry, my cat decided he wanted to say hi. Looking at this bar graph, how many has the least amount? Has the least color on our graph? If you said now, you are correct. The blue or now has the least amount, has 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to explain. I am going to explain our next assignment. So you're going to work this on your own and bring it to class, and we're going to go over it tomorrow when I see you. So when we first see it, what do we see? We want our name on the front, okay? And then whenever we open it and we go to the first graph, what kind of, oh, I'm sorry. What kind of graph is this? I want you to fill it out. I want you to first put your name, and I want you to say, for example, I don't want to give you an answer. So for example, if this was mine, I would put Mrs. Rodriguez's fruit graph. And then I would write what kind of graph I think it is. So if I thought it was pie graph, picture graph, a bar graph, a tally chart, I would put that right here. And then over here, you're going to color the graph by how many there are of each fruit. So if there were 200 apples, I would color in 200 squares. But there's not 200 apples, right? So for example, for grapes, if I go down and I go to this number, that's how many grapes there are. There are 5 grapes. So for grapes, I would come over here and I would color in 5 squares. I want to make sure that I don't accidentally go into any other color, any other square, so that it's accurate. So we make sure we color in every square very carefully. And then down here, you would tell me, what kind of graph is that? If we shade in every single square that there is for the apples, oranges, and grapes, what kind of graph are we making? And then next, we would talk about how many apples and grapes there are on the graph. So in order to get how many apples and grapes there are, what do we have to do? What is the main idea? What is the main idea if we are looking for apples and grapes? We're looking for apples and grapes, right? So that is the main idea. And so what do we have to do here? We are adding how many apples and grapes there are from this graph. And on number 2, it says, which fruit has the least? So which fruit from this graph, or it could be from this graph, has the least amount? And then number 3 is, which one has the most amount? Which one is filled all the way to the very, very top? And after that, you are done, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow, and we will learn a little bit more about graphing, and I can answer any questions